always find a way to be the dawn in your daydreams. If she's magic, she'll walk across the earth like there's always music playing. If she's magic, she'll be a perfect masterpiece of scars, a marvelous monument to healing, a torrential and relentless resilience. If she's magic, she'll radiate a pyrotechnic grace, and you'll find yourself delivered. Thank you.
Oh, she gonna burn you up.
Hey.
I'm just listening.
All right. Next student. You got the book, I mean.
I'm gonna read one of my own poems. Just a little bit of intro. This is actually coming on an anniversary. I had a friend named Alice who committed suicide almost to the day 11 years ago. At some point in the next week will be the 11-year anniversary. When I met her, I kind of always thought that she was older than me. She just kind of had more experience. And then when I kind of saw her obituary, I was just really struck to see that her and I had the exact same birthday, born on the same day in the same year. That was just something that kind of just changed, just like my understanding about kind of mortality and kind of being alive. This poem is called Birthday. In the summer Alice died, I'd walk past the university stadium at night. In the corner of my eye, a woman's silhouette would drop from the bleachers down to the bushes, reenacting her 60-foot fall again and again. Today, I'm in New Harmony, Indiana, where the Wabash has risen to devour the forest that drapes it. It's our 25th birthday. The Supreme Court legalized gay marriage today. NPR says human brains are fully developed by age 25. I guess that's true. I can go for a drink and call it a night. I can watch lightning bugs whisper electricity in the trees and decide to see them as hellfire pollinating the night, or not. I want to do away with that silhouette image, replace it. Alice and I in Houston again, noon, and all the flowers have bloomed. And no, it doesn't really work that way, so here's something real. Alice lies on a picnic blanket, her eyes are shut, and the sunlight rains through the shade. Her dress looks like watercolor. Someone plays guitar, and someone else hands over a box of wine from Kroger. Thank you.
Right on.
Another book person?
Okay, as I said, it's my new novel. It came out on April 26th. It is set, it was actually done by a Houston illustrator, if you're familiar with Deborah Newton. This was her husband, Joshua Newton, which is amazing. He, clearly did an amazing job. But this novel is set in Houston. It is part of my own journey of faith. It follows a girl named Autumn who is going through a breakup, and in that breakup rediscovering her relationship with God. She grew up in church and kind of knows who God is to her, but kind of doesn't. I'm probably going to read, I'll read one now, and then maybe there's time to read more, but I'm going to start at, let's see, yeah, I'm going to read from a part with her love interest, Grant, because there's 3 characters in this book, and Grant, at this point, is meeting Autumn, and there's something about Autumn that reminds him of his mom and his faith. So, Autumn was beautiful, sure. That's what initially got Grant's attention at the happy hour. She wore black pants and a white turtleneck that showed off her delicate curves and her beautiful brown skin. But it was her smile that drew him in. Her whole face lit up that night as she laughed alongside another girl with long dark curly hair. Grant wondered what was so funny, but he also wondered how he could get her to smile like that again. What jokes did he have under his belt? His coworker Michael had dragged him to this happy hour. He was still getting used to how large Houston was. Their office didn't seem that far from Elegance, the new Midtown bar. but it took them almost 30 minutes in wall-to-wall traffic to make it. Grant honestly hated happy hours. It was the usual boring small talk. Where did you go to school? Where are you from? Grant liked meeting new people, but there were only so many ways he could say, I just moved here in October from Philadelphia, and I'm an architect, before he bored himself. Don't you want to make new friends? Michael teased as they walked out of the office a few hours before. Grant adjusted his brown leather work backpack on his shoulder. Nah, I'm good. And he was good. It had only been a few months in Houston. He didn't need to have a whole crew of friends yet. Sure, he missed his boys back in Philadelphia. Most of his best friends were part of his fraternity that he pledged as a freshman at Howard University. A trio of them had moved to Philadelphia for work right after college. Grant missed the cold weather, but mostly happy hours with his boys where they didn't need to make small talk because they knew everything about him already. Suddenly, Grant felt something brushing against him. When he turned around, he found himself face to face with the girl who smelled like honey and flowers, the one he had been staring at just a few minutes ago. She looked even more beautiful up close. She was wearing bright red lipstick, and her smile lit up her whole body. He knew Michael probably was eating every moment of this up and would brag on him for the rest of the evening. Autumn was now apologizing for bumping into them, talking about how she hoped she didn't spill their drinks. Hi, I'm Autumn, she said, sticking out her hand. Grant shook her hand, feeling the urge to keep holding it, which disturbed him a little. She seemed shy. Every time their eyes locked, Autumn would quickly break away and look at the ground or out the window behind them. He wondered if he made her nervous. She was also laughing at them. Maybe it was Michael, though. He was funny, but Michael had been married to his wife Lauren for 2 years. He didn't need to impress Autumn like Grant did. Grant introduced himself, the same refrain of his job and where he was from. Skipping ahead. One of his, he kind of liked that Autumn wasn't afraid to call him out. You're pretty great, he thought. When Autumn said it, it was like playing basketball in high school when his ball swooshed to the net during the last few seconds of one of their playoff games. His teammates had rushed around him and cheered. Heck, this may be even better than that. I seriously hate this food delivery job I have, but it's helping me make money until I find a full-time job as a journalist. Autumn's words were music to his ears. She talked about the freelance writing she was doing for a newspaper called the Houston Journal. Grant liked how animated she was when she talked about journalism. He could feel her passion and found himself wanting to read her first story. Yet hearing her talk about her job as a writer surprisingly also made his stomach turn over. Get it together, man. It's been almost a decade. He hated that the smallest details reminded him of his mom. Suddenly he wasn't at the happy hour anymore, but he was back in his childhood home in Maryland. His mom was typing downstairs on her desktop computer. She usually sat cross-legged in her chair with a pencil in her curly bun piled on top of her head. He could always tell when she was working on a hard chapter of her book because she would get up and pace back and forth in front of the computer. If things were going bad, she would go into the kitchen and make a banana smoothie. Grant loved it because she would usually make one for him too. My banana boy, she called him. Grant hated it then. He would cringe when his friends came over and his mom sang out Banana Boy from downstairs. Sometimes he would pretend like he didn't hear it at all. However, he would give anything now for his mom to say those words one more time. My mom was a writer too. Grant hoped that Autumn couldn't hear how his voice squeaked a little at the end. Sometimes he could feel his whole body deflating whenever he mentioned his mom. But since meeting Autumn, he couldn't believe his luck. Why was this beautiful and smart woman still hanging out with him? Hopefully he hadn't blown it at the poetry night. He was intrigued with Autumn while she listened to the girl on stage sing. He couldn't help but stare. It was the song his mom used to sing all the time around the house. Sometimes she would hum it as she made one of their smoothies. At poetry night, when Autumn closed her eyes and hummed the song, she looked just like his mom for a second. It had given him goosebumps, but it also made him want to throw up. Grant hated that he couldn't listen to the song anymore, or any song like it for that matter. It gave him the same feeling, the same punch in the gut feeling of missing his mom that seemed to never go away. It hadn't gone away when he moved to Howard, not when he moved to Philadelphia to take a new job, and now not even in Houston when all he wanted to do was sit next to Autumn and hold her hand. He had prayed repeatedly for God to take away the empty feeling, but God wouldn't. Some God, he thought.
Wow.
So, okay, I do have like 4 copies of the book in the box, so if you would like a copy, please find me. Yeah, and I can send it.
Would you like the first one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, we actually don't have a mic here.
Who needs a mic? Come on, man.
I couldn't get it out. You're right. All my thoughts are already.
We do have a mic.
Everything's so clear.
The mic's over there. Y'all got it?
Oh, I don't need a mic. I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You do. We're not total heathens. A business.
This poem was actually published in New York Times.
Just flex on us.
I wish I understood what it is like to be a black girl. To know myself like a dictionary definition. To see something wrong with the world and position myself in a warrior stance. Hand on hip, leg cocked, head tilted, acrylic pointed, ready to clap back, snap in his formation, increase my volume for dramatic effect, and even then, I pose no real threat. The art of literacy is not aggressive, my whiplash tongue hurt is passive, for never using my racist dialect, or as my white teacher put it. Never leaving your cultural imprint, surrender is not the way of a woman of color. I raise my fist to protest, only to be met with the shaking of hands, gifted opportunity after opportunity for not a step outside my mark. Do you know what it's like to be at war with yourself, to want to strangle your tongue? Would you believe me if I told you the closest I've ever felt to my own race was mispronouncing my own name? Madison was easier to learn. Its origin to a slave master, or how we've been taught to say, founding father. A Google search for my surname, Petaway. Did you mean Pearson? No Peter, no Perry, no Pettis. Did you mean Petway Plantation? Images. Did you know they were black like you? Maps. Did you know they were from Alabama? Did you know they moved to North Carolina? Did you forget you have family members? History, and both of those locations, did you know there are subreddits of people looking for people with the surname Petway because white doctors didn't have the decency to spell our name correctly? There are no dictionaries for names without origins. This is my birthright, and it's not broken, not worn, so I wear it. I heard to be black is synonymous with magic, with beauty, but I feel anything but. A throat that spits flames seems more just than spitting poems. I heard to be black is to bring what you can to the fight, while in a warrior stance. Pat and weave, pick and fro, jaw loose is to be a black girl. Thank you.
Always.
Y'all, there's a chair. There's one chair right there.
Okay, thank you. I'm already, we're already like that. Thank you.
Peace and blessings, everybody.
Peace.
Donnie was here yesterday. My book, my daddy never told me how to write a love song, was released here
Yeah.
last night. It was a beautiful, beautiful affair. The last two poets that I want to connect with, both fiction and poetry. It's wonderful walking into that. So I was reading all yesterday, so I don't know what I should read. We'll see.
I was across town, so come on, man.
Yeah, we weren't
It's
here
good to be
yesterday.
Let's see. Alright, I'll read this one. This is about my father. So it's called Letters to a Young Black Father for Joy. You know, right there, not paying no attention. I love a black man, and maybe that's a testimony. Maybe the keloid on his chest was a ministry. I remember thinking that hands couldn't grow as large as his, and those footsteps. I'd always know when the tax man took too much, by the miles and metronome between left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. This black man, he opened me up, and I knew wide chapel doors weigh less when speaking in tongues is colloquial. He told me I love him before I knew which words would begin wars and which ones sutured wounds. It's never fair, loving a black man. Loving this black man, but I did. He played a cruel trick and gave me his name. He gave me his color, he gave me his name, and I hear him pacing down the hallway. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. My feet sound like his when I'm pacing in the dining room. Pacing when I need to make a decision, hoping that on the other side of my refrigerator door is a piggyback ride on racetracks we never built right. I love a black man, but must he say the same? Loving me became a duty until loving me he could not do. Loving to love. Not to stand at attention as though my bedside were the tomb of some unknown soldier. Stand down. I'm a man now, Daddy. There's plenty of other niggas to meet who won't love me right. I love a black man and he's died 1,000 times. But my kidneys, the keloid on my chest, my lungs, the veins in my feet, he is a proprietor. In sex and hardship, pouring pepper in a bowl of lentil soup, my body is his body. Each of my days is another one of his lives, and he knows that. I love a black man who won't let me go, who'll put a pistol to his head to play possum, but never pull on anything tighter than my tongue when I cry out, please, Daddy, don't go. And isn't love or cruelty? But I love a black man, one whose body, like Christ, was used as a bargaining tool for good faith. But that's his story to tell, I presume. I haven't called him enough to know. Faith is a funny motherfucker, isn't it? Faith, my Gabriel, asks that I love a black man who has never loved himself, not for anything more than that he is a black man, and black men need love. So, I love a black man. It's only cost me a lesson in how much flesh of my knuckles to surrender when throwing punches, between throwing punches into the air and teaching you, joy, that we come to love. It is never a decree. I love a black man because I choose to. Because grapefruit is no more bitter than the reluctance to welcome its sweetness. Because every nigga is a star, and one day he will be too, as will I. And I can love you better. So why not count him now with the good nights he has left? In the morning, I may consider this a love poem. We brought like, I think, 40 or 50, I have like 8 left. So if you're interested, if you enjoyed that, let me know.
How much more? Right, so.
The mic does work, right? All right, just want to shout out Fellowship of the Griots, which is Donnie's project. It's been going on its 2nd year, and it's an incredible space to be in. I'll say that. All right, this one's called Burst. This was the first poem I ever wrote in weekend words, which is what it's called. Every Saturday mornings, y'all. Just so you know.
I love it.
After a boss battle, pieces fall off from the carapace. All is still, hushed, and the memory of before escapes. Mere moments that birthed the realization, the knowledge of the existence of a gulf, unquantifiable, inapproximable, color I've never seen before, saturation I never noticed, so idiosyncratic, but an inkling of the vastness, vague, color I swore I've seen before, reaching on the tip of my tongue, returning me to my own lap, to my own open embrace, to my gentle fingertip. I'm reminded of the spark of what came just before me. A huge clang, a collision, a violence, a thrust, no hush. A contrast to before. I mean, now. Because I'm laid down, restless, yearning, trying to open. Roundo eye meets me, greets me, watches me, level. I slack a bit. I ask. I don't ask. I place and guide. But nothing could prepare me to remember my birth. The warmth and the slowness, the violence of a push, a still force such, bunched up, waiting, then resounding in echoes, felt through fear. I can't take it. My tendons, and the shock my tendons gratefully absorbed. Shocked I was ready this whole time, waiting to peer back into that gulf, a glorious, shimmering, shifting nebula, an endless well, prepped and open, illuminated, curious at the new, curious to make new.
So this is the first poem that I've ever read. So, so I don't consider myself a poet, but the first words of this poem were born in this room last April. So I had not. So just to give a little history about myself, I grew up in a small town. Reading is something that I absolutely love to do. I started reading since I was at 3 years old. Been reading since, and it's one of my favorite pastimes. So because of my love of reading, I started to write. But you know, some challenges. So in a small town, black kids, bright kids are not always received the way they should by white teachers, right? And so even though I had very strong parents, you know, mostly I was good. But so when I was in 5th grade, I wrote, you know, this short story, because that's what I had started writing, was doing short stories. So I got accused of plagiarizing, so it kind of killed that spirit of writing in me. So from the 5th grade until last April, I had not read anything that wasn't academic. So, but I was in this room, in the midst of poets and people, so these words started coming to me. I wasn't even really sure what was happening. I went home, laid down and go to sleep, and the words poured out like a fire. So,
welcome back.
Yes. Yeah. So I belong to an organization called Restoration Life Project, and we do education on human trafficking. So this poem is from the perspective of someone that is in captivity. So these are the words that came to me. So what do you see? So what do you see when you see me? People driving by in cars, you know, professionals and business owners, cycle moms and church people, they see an over-revealing dress, shoes much too high, too much makeup, heavy makeup, attempting to cover the physical and emotional pain and bruises. People that think that I made a choice and whatever happens to me are the consequences of my choices and my actions, not understanding that I am the consequences of others' choices and actions. So what do you see when you see me? From the age of 12 to 14, my mom's boyfriend saw me as someone to victimize, to touch in a way that no little girl should be touched. Said it was my fault and told me what he would do to me if I ever told on him. I never did. Instead, I ran away at age 14. So what do you see when you see me? Well, my mom saw me as a sullen preteen, smelling myself. Discipline was the answer. My teachers and principals saw me as a troublemaker, someone to be banished to ISS. They did not see that my acting out was my pain, my cry for help, and the only way that I knew how to ask. So what do you see when you see me? My pimp sees me as his property, his moneymaker, someone to drug and abuse at will. He found me after I ran away from my mom's boyfriend. He was so nice at first. He fed me expensive food and bought me designer clothes, told me that I was beautiful. I thought he was the answer to my prayer until he wasn't. So what do you see when you see me? Well, my John sees me as a purchase, and he can do it as he wants. He doesn't see me as someone's daughter, sister, or friend. He does not see that I could be his daughter. So what do you see what do I see when I see me? Mostly I see the pain of my 12-year-old self, a face that I do not recognize, someone in captivity. But every now and again I see hope that I will be free to be me, free to remember the dreams that I had before, free to live. So when you see me, please see me.
All right. We're moving around, I think. We're trying, we kind of.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's just the right
We're
time.
all in the middle.
Excuse, sir. You know what? I like to do a poem. I'm not necessarily a poet, but I went to school here, and I was on Dr. Freeman's debate team. And
Well, we got a colleague over here. Are you in a hurry to go? Can you come out?
yeah, and
TSU debate team, hey? That's what I'm talking about.
oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Are you on? You deferring? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You ready? Come on.
So the reason why I was thinking about this poem, because every time I come on this campus, I think about how great Dr. Freeman was.
Oh, yeah.
And when we used to travel around the country, literally around the world to do our debate, walking with him was like walking with Michael Jackson and all of the top universities in the world. These people respected him so much. And for any student who had that opportunity, it's what gave you pride. And you can see it in a lot of his ex-students. But this poem is one that he loved. And I know she's laughing because she knows what's getting ready to come. Doc was, he was just an amazing individual, a pastor of Antioch Church. And he loved this poem. And he loved women and respected them. And this poem is probably his declaration to all women. It's called The Water of Your Bath. I wish I could be the water of your bath. I would surround you with a mellow warmth, liquid love, like a frolicking child, like a childish wave on the sandy shore. I would dash and break up on the firmness of your body, engulf and moisten all the places I dream of. If I were the water of your bath, I would memorize each and every muscle, and being liquid, I would take your shape, mold myself to your every curve and every intonation. I would roll on and over and off your satin skin. If I were the water of your bath, I would send parts of me to gather in the recess of your navel, where the temperature would rise to match yours, and like plants of the sea, I would move your body hairs in and out with the tide created by the movements. Playfully, I would slosh against your thighs, become intimate with your very nature. If I were the water of your bath, I would cleanse you as my ancestors cleansed the Nile and the Congo, cleansed by your ancestors. But even more, when you leave me and pull the plug, I would defy the natural order of things and stay and wait for your return.
All right. Okay.
I'm feeling the mindset. Maria, you came to, I want to say a word or two about that. Okay, let me just do that.
That was perfect.
Yeah, all right, cool.
When a black woman from 5th Ward, Texas, dials 911, there's certain things she must do and a certain way she must look. Remove all makeup, jewelry. Afros are still intimidating. Wrap up curly nappy hair, not in a kente comb. Avoid assault and battery, hide Afro pick. Put a bra on and loose fitting clothes. Look as unattractive as possible. Apply 2 drops of Visine in both eyes, because if not, police will assume her red, tired eyes are from smoking weed too much, drinking alcohol too much, up all night party too much. Police will never believe her red, tired eyes are from Black woman worked a double shift last night. Black woman breastfed her infant son all night long. Black woman is the sole caretaker of her aging parents. Do you know what type of person it takes to do role reversal? Speed, feed, and clothe the ones who once fed and clothed her. So just maybe, her red, tired eyes are from washing dioxin residue off her face, her hands, her arms, her legs. This cancer-causing chemical from the Union Pacific Railroad has been contaminating her Fifth Ward Cashmere Garden neighborhoods for decades. Executing lifetimes, deleting history before they were even born. And what makes matters worse, they want her to believe it's all in her head.
She always does something. She always
I can't think of anything at this time. Maybe later.
Okay, later, okay. Later. Sure.
Watch your head.
Sorry, I don't know quite sure. I mean, we're supposed to. I just released my first poetry book.
Awesome.
You think this a whole beat?
There's a real bitch that will though.
Sorry,
I was like, what this one?
That's my whole life.
I was like, please. It's like,
I don't know if I'm supposed to read 1, 2, whatever.
Whatever you feel.
Okay.
Mike's gonna have insurance. We're a business, we're in a business.
Yeah, so this is Slices of Black American Life, a collection of blaxploitation poetry and short stories. I always tell people it's sort of like if Dolomite and Gil Scott-Heron had a baby.
I can see that. That's what I heard when you said.
That's what you heard when you heard what I
You
said?
said, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I'll read a couple of y'all if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those are excellent performances, by the way. That's the kind of performance that make you not want to go next. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, there's a lot of poems in this book. I know what I want to start with too. All right, so this one is called Tiger in the Tank. Last week, Tyreek bought a new car. This week, it won't crank. Ain't nothing broke but him. He took all his savings out the bank. He spent hundreds on the rims and 20s on insurance. Now he can't afford to put no Tiger in his tank. The seats are beige, the roof is suede, but he can't drive that thing until he gets paid. It sits outside his crib. The only place he can go is where he lives, cause ain't no Tiger in the tank. The radio be booming, the speakers woofing and tweaking. No matter how loud his music is, no time soon will he be leaving, cause ain't no Tiger in the tank. Every morning he gets dressed to impress, gives that car some sugar, his lips shining, covered in candy paint. But since it won't drive, no one outside the neighborhood will see his fit or his sweet ride, cause ain't no Tiger in his tank. Inside is full of luxuries. Bluetooth, sunroof, navigation, heated seats, diamond stitched Italian leather, custom LED lights that change with vibration. Touchscreen dash, panoramic roof, voice activated controls, auto tint windows too. But if you need a ride from Tyreek, you both gonna be sitting outside waiting, cause ain't no Tiger in his tank. All right, that was my first. This one's my wife's favorite. I told her a performance called Shanika. My wife's name's not Shanika, though. I'm a poet. See, when you're a poet, you know it. You show it. You grow it. You don't blow it. I mean, look at me. I got words, punctuations, exclamations, and periods. You don't believe me? Is you serious? I got quotations wrapped around frustrations, dashes and slashes, dollar signs, and semicolons. Why is you hating? I told you I got punctuation. I throw the alphabets high to the sky and watch them crash, bash, slash out, smash into my paper, creating scenes that make you fiend for my sentences in your dreams. Plus sign and minuses, commas in between the drama. My rhyme scheme's a bonanza. Every stanza is bananas. Poetry be my gift. It's in my blood. I got it from my mama, not no fat white man named Santa. They ain't no hyperbole, but I got those too. I'm an animal with the pen. My journal is a zoo. Why is you hating? I told you I got hyperboles. I'm the Michael Jordan, no Spike Lee, no Princess Tiana, no all three when it comes to this poetry. My paragraphs belong in books, songs, movie scripts, advertising. I write truth when I fantasize it. My imagination is a staycation. Ain't no telling where I'm going. See, when you're a poet, you be knowing. I'm very excited to share these poems in this book, and it's very exciting for me. So, all right, this one's called Crab Fried Rice. Yeah? I got some food for thought. That's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah. Crab fried rice, right? All these crabs in the bucket, pulling and tugging, dragging each other back, clawing their way from the pit of this hell, balancing on shattered shells, screaming and yelling, laughing, wilding as each crab at the top tumbles down, snatching, jerking, straining, flailing, grappling, wrestling. The endless tussle wears them thin. Fatigue sets in, yet they keep climbing. At this pace, none of them will ever leave. They struggle without knowing they struggle. They mistake movement for progress. Every fall brings them closer, a little more hopeful, a little more eager, claws clapping, tapping. My turn next. One claw stretching upward until suddenly I stop, a yank on my leg, and I'm back at the bottom of the stack. My wife told me to read this one too, so you listen to your wife. It's our 14th year anniversary. Not bad so far, right? She listens to me right all the time, so. This one's called Black Love. I think it's pretty cool. Black love. My blackness isn't a trend, it's my everyday. I'm black in every way. My blackness isn't a post, my blackness isn't a video. My blackness is a living organism. My blackness is a vision of living without restriction. My blackness is freedom regardless of the cages they build it. My blackness is a feeling, one that I know they ain't feeling. Even when they write that it matters, I know that it doesn't matter in the houses that they live in. I refuse to let my blackness be abused for corporations to use. My blackness isn't an ad. My blackness isn't bad. My blackness is mom and dad, brother and sister, grandma and grandpa, uncles and aunts, first, second, and third cousins. My blackness is the color of kings and queens and other beautiful things. Sometimes my blackness is angry. Sometimes my blackness wants revenge for all the colonizers' sins. My blackness has the right to fight and defend my family and friends. My rights are a perfect reason to fight. My blackness still shines even if they cut off all the lights. Don't you dare try to define or confine my blackness, because the type of blackness I have is always ready for that action. My blackness is smart. My blackness can read. My blackness is all heart. I love a lot about me, but my blackness is my favorite part. My blackness is the color of spades being played next to pictures of purple Kool-Aid. My blackness is domino slammed up to the table. My blackness can do anything. My blackness is always able. My blackness is the revolution, the evolution, and the liberation. My blackness has been great in every generation. Ain't no integration in my black ass imagination. All I see is blackness when I close my eyes. It's a celebration. To be honest, I think my blackness deserves a congratulation. A round of applause for my blackness, y'all. Woo! Thank you. That wasn't the end of the poem. A round of applause for my blackness, y'all. Woo! My blackness is more than the color of my skin. It's a lifestyle, a culture, and everything within. My blackness is standing around the pool, even though we know how to swim. My blackness is way too fly to consider jumping in. My blackness is uplifting. My blackness soars high up in the sky. My blackness is my mama and her sisters in the kitchen cooking Sunday dinner. I know a lot of losers out there, but my blackness is a winner. My blackness is brand new. It's never gonna crack. No matter how much they offer, I will never give my blackness back. They know all this about my blackness. They know that it is true. That's why my blackness is the fuse blowing up the news. My blackness got white folks confused, acting like they ain't got a clue about how my blackness has been mistreated. It's written in the fabrics of society. They just refuse to read it. My blackness is needed. My blackness cannot be defeated. They burned it, hung it, called it ugly, poisoned it, lied on it, lied to it, dropped bombs on it, misused it, raped it, and enslaved it. They try to break it, erase it, replace it, but my blackness is unshaken. They try to silence it, deny it, rewrite it, divide it, but my blackness is undying. Through chains and flames, through stolen names, through every lie they ever claimed. Still, my blackness remains exquisite and full of grace, because that's the way that God made it. Yes, that's the way that God made it. I could never dislike my blackness, no matter how much they hate it. The silence of my blackness makes the biggest impression. My blackness tells the whole story in a single expression. Thank God for my blackness, the golliest of blessings. They built systems to keep it suppressed. In school lessons, the truth face the stress, the blackness of my history oppressed. But that won't stop the facts from rising. Even when they twist and keep revising, my blackness is undying. They tried everything they could, and they're still brainstorming ways to shatter, batter, and demolish my blackness, trying to make it collapse. Yet, my blackness is still standing. My last one, I think, if that's okay with y'all. All right, this one's called Plastic.
Plastic?
Yes. Ah, you paying attention, huh? Yeah. Plastic. All the furniture in my mama's house is still in the packaging. It has been for 47 years. The fabric is littered with flowers that never get fresh air, but I don't think my Momo cares. The only thing that matters to her, it seems, is that the petals never tear. All my Momo's furniture is still in the packaging. The couches, the sofas, the love seat, and the chairs. When you sit on the chairs, they stick to your butt. If you lay on the love seat, it sticks to your face. If you fall asleep on the sofa, you might suffocate. The armchairs make your arms sweat. The couch is a threat to anyone under 6. I don't think there's anywhere in my Momo's house that's safe for a child to sit. But the furniture, always clean. Not a stain from your jeans, not a crumb from the cornbread and beans, not even a stink from a fart. Honestly, I think this is my Momo's favorite part. Because when I asked her why all of her furniture was still in the plastic, she replied, "Because I don't want it to smell like y'all's funky asses." I have them here. Get them right here, too.
Remind us your name.
They call me Mr. Tamanoshi.
Mr. Tamanoshi.
Yeah.
Children's book is right up
Yeah, I do children's books a lot too. So I drew the unicorn in my back. I illustrate as well. So I'm an author and illustrator. So I also animated at Disney. Got a new animated series on there. Looking at you makes me want to laugh. I got this other poem that I know you will love. Yeah, I don't have to tell you about it later.
Eric, you got anniversary, relationship, you can do whatever you want. You want to do a love?
Okay, I got you. Just passing my phone.
Oh, you got some. Hey, Come on, do one more for you, though.
Please.
I apologize. He did.
The black. I like the applause.
Shout out to everybody who participated in National Poetry Month, the 30 for 30 challenge. For the first time in like 10 years, I actually completed mine this year. But this is actually from like years past. It was on day 1, and a friend of mine had the prompt, write a poem about why mistakes get loud. And I said, what does that mean? And he said, figure it out. And so this is a poem that came from that.
I'm sorry, say that again. Why mistakes? What?
Why mistakes get loud.
Get loud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because too heavenly minded is no earthly good. Because were it not for the scars, people would think excellence is easy. Because we strivers have a tendency to believe our own press. Because pride. Because proof. Because perspective is the best lesson that falling down teaches. Because we must always be reminded of the cost of breaking a heart. Because we don't always have to take the long way around. Because you need to remember to turn the fire down. Because you need to know you can believe in the ground. Because you ain't the first one to fall. Because I ain't got room to cast no stone. Because following the bones of the brave is the only way to get back home. Because testimony is meaningless without gravity. Because otherwise arriving would not need to sound like an archangel's horn. Thank you. Love y'all. I'll see you again next month. Yeah?
No problem. No problem. I just have my phone up right there. All right. Now. Okay. I'll go with this one. Considering my audience, of course. Another night alone in the booth, humming myself at the thoughts of my dear future queen. Words can never express the fullness of my gratitude for having her as part of my team. She got me lit up more like a rope fully drenched in kerosene. I'm so high up into my zone, so I just drank a tank of caffeine. What more can I say about how I feel after 2 decades of writing love letters in lyrical form? Exactly what will make me different from what comes out of the norm? To get here up on this mic and just flame up like Johnny Storm. She got my mind flooded. She got my mind so flooded, I swear I'm having a brainstorm. I understand that she completes me in every communication with the words that I spit. Much like a pastor in the church preaching to the congregation from his pulpit. I'm like an artist in the booth giving all the world my #1 hits. The way they be giving out my bars be like old folks having conniption fits. Nothing could be better than the passion we have now versus way back when. Back in the day of what we did now would be misconstrued as a sin. By any means necessary, never had any malicious intent to offend. So when I go back to tell our story through the use of my pen.
I think what's beautiful is that a lot of people reading from their books, their first books. That was gorgeous.
Thank you.
First poetry collection?
Huh?
First poetry collection?
Yeah.
It's first one as well, and I think that, I mean, authors may speak to this. Toni Morrison said that you write the stories that you need to read, you need to hear. And that's what I'm hearing tonight. I think that's gorgeous. For those who came in after I read the first time, again, my name is Donnie. My first collection, My Daddy Never Taught Me How to Write a Love Song. Released it yesterday here. It was a gorgeous reception. So I'll read another one from you. I like the energy that this brother brought, so I'll try to keep it that just a little bit. I'll read two. So it's called My Daddy Never Taught Me How to Write a Love Song, Part 2. To the sister who let off a shot at her man's head while I was buckling my daughter into her car seat, had she seen you, then this poem would have begun differently. But she only heard the eruption of urban fiction gone to shit like the fabrics of your wet lavender robe. And the way your nigga ran, he made it seem like it was always an option. And you ran until I needed you to stand still in this question. How much did you bend to spell love? How much was left over? What was the cost, the worth? Was it enough? Orgasms that were creamy confections can't count as currency when they on your last nerves. But mea culpa, let her be forgiven. A nigga run like that, run better game. Or maybe, after we learn to crawl, we miss how to outrun that tired mirror, mirror, mercy, mercy, me mouthing, not me, not this time, but this time, you tried to kill a nigga. This time. Was it enough? Who am I to judge? My daddy taught me how to walk, but never taught me how to write a love song. But I do know the crooning of casualties. From the silhouette on the second floor, slurping cigs, like a writing prompt about David Ruffin at the end of the world, to the boy at the gym stuttering over his confessions in commiseration of the semicolon on my sweaty t-shirt. I can always smell a bad breakup. To my lonesome brother in dead expectations, busing his baby boy to pizza night on the Houston Metro. To the brother whose she's gone, oh why, bologna and beans, blues, are just bus stop fables. To the little girls who don't know why mama keep looking at them like that. To the mastiff without a master eating box braids by the dumpster. To the leather that Tupac wore stitched closer to his chest than T-H-U-G tattooed on his belly. To the 1,000 shapes hands can make, to the one that Mike Tyson needed to learn the geometry of safety. To the other me who did die in 2017 before finding Kwame Toure's banner flag at the end of the rainbow sign. And to everything fucked at the cost of us playing God with her womb. Is it ever enough to call it love? Because you can fuck it, fight it, fix it, and fill in the gaps, even though a 9mm bullet can fit in between the width of your disappointment. I get it. But if you'd have shot that man with the little girl in earshot, would it have been enough? You're having a tough go of it. Love don't love nobody, spelled in broken bones or broken promises. Negroes been feeding you and you hungry, I get it. But it's neither loving or enough to say I don't know when the same little girl asked me, what's that noise? And I don't know what love is, but what love can't be is what we got going on, and we got a lot going on. Fighting, pushing, shoving, and filling in the gaps. Girl, I hope you get rid of that gun. Or at least pour some gunpowder in a time capsule with your mistake of loving that boy. We all make mistakes, but I hope you get rid of that gun because we all make mistakes. But living with them, well, I think I just found some unreleased Marvin Gaye eulogies. They say, if only his daddy had listened to his baby's lullabies. I got one more. It's a new one, only because that one's a little dour. So, as Schubert mentioned, Weekend Words is a workshop, part of my organization, Fellowship of the Griots. We're a global collective of black writers around the world, Mexico, Canada, LA, here. And like I said, we have a weekend workshop every Saturday. We meet like 6 to 8 hours, and we just write into everything that has to do with our existence as black folks on the planet. And I wrote this one. It's a love letter to my grandfather's love of my grandmother's moo-moos. And so I thought this was cool. So it's called Moo.